5 years ago, Mercedes-Benz's performance division AMG came out with an outlandish car. Outlandish because of the power and performance it packed in. 571 PS of max power that was capable of shredding tires. And outlandish styling as well. Remember that long hood and the gull-wing doors? Yes, I'm talking about the SLS AMG. Now earlier this year, they finally retired that car, but they've replaced it with something less intimidating but equally enticing. Say hello to the AMG GT. After the SLS, the GT is the second sports car developed entirely in-house by AMG. At first glance, it seems like an infant SLS, but apart from the classic fastback sports car shape that the GT retains, a lot has changed. Its front mid-engine concept with the transaxle embodies the spirit of many a glorious Mercedes sports cars. The gull-wing doors on the SLS AMG, which were hinged on the roof, had an undeniable visual effect, but they are quite bothersome. Now with the AMG GT, order has been restored. The door hinges have returned to their rightful conventional place. Mercedes-AMG has gone for an intelligent material mix on the body of the GT. Chassis including greenhouse and body are made out of light alloy. The boot lid out of steel and the front deck out of magnesium. The GT also has a smaller footprint than the SLS, which puts its shape and size in the category of the 911 and the F-Type coupe. But there's one feather on its cap that will have Porsche and Jaguar very worried. The body shell weighs a mere 231 kilograms. So unlike its predecessor, the GT isn't just a tire shredding warhead of mass destruction, it is now a precise, potent and light-footed weapon that has even more focused destructive potential. The AMG GT is a poser's car. Just look at it, it looks so gorgeous. Who would want to stand along with this car and pose? It's just that I'm stuck here in Rajasthan in the middle of nowhere on a road that's just bad out of hell with nobody else to look at me. But what the hell? We're here to test what this car's straight line speed is all about. What kind of pace does it do? Because this is a two-seater Grand Tourer. Can we tour in Rajasthan in style? That's what we're here to see. The SLS AMG was AMG's last naturally aspirated engine. The 6.3 litre V8 was a massive engine, made an enormous amount of power and torque. But with the AMG GT, well, the buzzword is downsizing, is efficiency, and that's why it uses a 4 litre twin turbo V8. Now this makes 510 PS of max power, which is an enormous amount by itself. But this is just such a sweet engine. Turbo lag? What is turbo lag? Who knows that word? This engine is crisp, it's responsive and phenomenally quick. Now every manufacturer is trying to ensure that their turbocharged engine behaves like a naturally aspirated engine. The way AMG is achieving that is by resorting to their recent championship-winning F1 engines. The turbines and exhaust headers are mounted between the cylinder banks to reduce the time taken for the exhaust gases to travel from the ports to the intake charger. The result is power on tap with linear acceleration, flat out or roll on. The AMG GT's engine is also used by the C63 AMG, but the AMG GT, well, significantly more lighter, 100 kilos lighter than the C63 AMG. And that means you get, well, a 0 to 100 time. That's nearly 200th of a second quicker as well. So the AMG GT, well, it does a 0 to 100 in 3.8 seconds. That's blindingly quick. Sure, the GT doesn't produce as much power as the SLS, but trust us, that's a good thing because none of it gets wasted. And a curb weight of as less as 1.5 tons gives it a power to weight ratio of over 300 PS per ton, which means the Mercedes-AMG GT confidently lines up alongside not just the competition, but also the very best Mercedes-Benz has ever produced. The AMG GT uses Mercedes-Benz's new 7-speed dual-clutch transmission, DCT. And well, while we thought the SLS AMG, and it was said that the SLS AMG, the shift quality, well, it wasn't too quick. There's none of that problem in the AMG GT. The AMG GT S is undeniably an absolute beast in a straight line. It's got the same acceleration as the SLS AMG, but it's all controlled and none of it's going to waste in tire smoke. But does it like changing direction? how does it handle corners? Well, clearly this isn't the place to try and dance with it. What it needs is a racetrack. Corners. How does this car do in corners? For that, I'm going to toss this story to Jamshed, who's at the BIC, who's driven this car at the BIC, and let's see what he has to say about the AMG GT.
Now, while Bernd is checking out the straight line performance of the AMG GT S, we've come to the racetrack at the BIC to check out what it's like on a racetrack where it's in its true element. And when I say we, I mean this time around we're going to take a little bit of help. Help comes in the form of a certain Mr. Bernd Schneider. Now, for those of you in hibernation for the past quarter of a century, Bernd Schneider is a motorsport icon. Former Formula 1 driver, winner of multiple endurance races, FIA GT World Champion and 5-time DTM champion, a feat that earned him the title of Mr. DTM. But apart from his obvious racing prowess, why is it that we are interested in hearing about the AMG GT S from him? Simple, because he helped build it. Are you thoroughly satisfied with the development of this car?
Yeah, I'm really happy with the outcome.
Yeah.
Because it's sometimes not so easy to make everybody happy, because when we're sitting together and we're making setup for the car, we have the racer of the one side and comfort people on the other side, and you're always battling, And in this car, I think we got the perfect solution. It's really good on the road and also perfect on the racetrack. This is the reason I'm really happy with this balance. And with the engine, in the beginning everybody was a little bit thinking about how does this turbo engine competes to our V8 6.2 liter engine.
Yeah.
But honestly, it's unbelievable. The torque of this engine is really, really strong. And if you drive slow, the fuel consumption is much lower than in the old car. And I must say, I'm really, really happy. And all the work we spent was now giving good results.
Well, I wasn't just about to take his word for it, he had to show me just what the AMG GT S, his baby, was capable of on a racetrack like the BIC. Me, sitting next to Bernd Schneider on a racetrack in a 510 horsepower car that he helped build. This is the stuff that dreams are made of. It seems even our in-car camera forgot to auto-adjust the light out of sheer excitement. So, due apologies. So here we go at the Booth International Circuit with Mr. DTM himself, Bernd Schneider, who's going to show us what this car is capable of on a racetrack. Right, Bernd?
Okay, I'll try my best. But it's a good track and I think we have the right car.
We have the right car and the right driver as well. And we've lost a little bit of light, but then you love driving at night, don't you? With all your endurance experience.
I used to all the 24-hour races I did.
Yeah. Braking extremely hard with the right hand hairpin onto the main straight, and this car is fast.
This car is awesome. It's a good balance and top speed, of course, here in this long straight, really high, and I love this car.
What are you doing 270 kilometers an hour, and I have never braked this late at the end of the main straight. Oh my God. You have to be so sure of yourself to do that. Now you can see that this is a hydraulic steering, it's not the usual electric setup. And you can see how precise it is. This car, of course, Mercedes-Benz AMG claim that it's been designed by and developed by race car drivers, and what better development driver to have than 5-time DTM champion Bernd Schneider himself. Absolutely spot on at the parabola.
This chicane, you need to have the car really precise and very stable to break it into the corner and very good on traction. It's so much fun.
Yeah. Well, we've come to the end of that lap. I think it's going to take me about half a day to wipe that grin off my face.
Okay, so I stand convinced. The AMG GT S is definitely just as capable of scintillating lap times as it is in a straight line. But the thing that impresses me most is that it's very usable on a daily basis. It's got a sizable boot, a comfortable ride, and you can even manage a decent fuel efficiency if your better senses are behind the wheel. And it's not ridiculously expensive like the SLS. So then, is this one of the best road-going sports cars to come out of the Mercedes-AMG stable? Well, everything that we've experienced with it certainly points to the affirmative.